Hey everyone, Patrick CK here with part 2 of my review of the Fractal Design Define 7 case. In the first part, we went over all of the features that make this case the prime choice for your next build. If you haven't seen the first part, I'll leave a card linking to it. I would check that out first, as we'll literally be building on what we learned from that review. Today we'll be going over how to customize this case to suit your specific needs, and again demonstrate just how versatile this case is. We'll start out with swapping which side the door opens, then almost completely tearing down the case to rework the interior for the server configuration. And lastly, we'll look at how to move or remove the included 2-bay hard drive cage. Along the way, I'll point out a few more of the details of this case that I didn't get a chance to cover in the first part. Let's jump right into it. Being able to swap which side the front panel swings open from doesn't initially sound like a big deal, but for anyone who's experienced having the door on the wrong side and not being able to move it knows just how much of a godsend this feature really is. Even if the door opens fine in the current position, imagine if you have to move, or if you get a new desk and now the door opens on the wrong side. Then what? Well, with the Define 7, it's not a problem. All you'll need for almost everything today is a Phillips screwdriver. But I would advise having 2 different size bits if you can, a larger and a finer one, as there are 2 sizes of Phillips screws and it's easier to work with their respectively sized bits. The first thing I did was remove the hinge mount covers from the frame of the front panel and set them aside. These screws are pretty small, so they'll need the finer bit. I practiced removing the panel a couple times and found that it's easier to remove the door from the hinges first. So let's go ahead and do that now. These screws are of the larger variety. With the door removed, unscrew these covers and move them to the other side. If you look at these at the right angle, they look like little robot faces. You can't unsee it now. With the door ready, let's move the hinges. Again, I found it's easier to unscrew the hinges and keep the screw in place, because if the screw falls out, it's a pain to get it back in place. So simply unscrew them and move them directly into their new position. There's a little nub on the mount, so you can't put them in the wrong way without breaking something. At this point, I put those little covers back on the frame, on the opposite side of course. With the hinges secured, you can basically hang the door in place while you screw it back in. The screw mounts are on a small standoff, making it a little tricky to line up, so you'll need some patience. That's it. Now the door opens on the left. There are already magnets built in on both sides, so no need to worry about that. Next up, rearranging the interior for server configuration is a little more involved, but is just a matter of following these steps. As we step through this process, we'll be almost completely disassembling this case, which on its own is a good practice to see how to do things like moving the front fans, or mounting a tank for a custom water loop, and more. So we'll start by popping off the top panel just like we did in part 1 of the review. It just snaps right off. The first time you do this, it will take a little more force. Next, remove the top air filter by sliding it toward the back of the case until it unlocks, then pull it up. Next, we'll pop off the front panel, but first pull out the bottom air filter. Then, starting from the top, pull off the entire front panel, which includes the door, the frame, and the front air filter. Again, this will take a little more force than I feel comfortable doing, but it will pop off. It kind of scared me the first time I did it. With the front panel off, we'll have to remove the included fans. Remove the 4 screws from each, then feed the cable through the gap from the rear compartment, and put the fans aside. With the fans out of the way, we can remove these 2 panels on top of the power supply shroud. Now we'll unscrew the interior panel that will form the back of the full height hard drive cage. There are 5 screws in total, 3 on the front panel, 1 on top, and 1 on a small tab. After you remove the screws, the panel will still stay in place until you pop it free. There are little dimples on the edge that allow the panel to stay positioned until you secure it. Just another smart engineering feature. I found it's easiest to twist a panel towards you and completely remove it from the back of the case before trying to maneuver it into its new location. Since it's out of the case, let's remove this pre-installed bracket. Fractal calls this the multi-bracket. As the name implies, it can be used to mount everything from storage devices to custom water loop components all over the case. Although you only get one included. Link to buy more in the description. With that removed, let's see how to maneuver the panel into place on the other side. Just like in its original position, once you get it in the right angle, it will snap into place. Here's another angle to see how I finesse the panel into position. The trick is to move around these braces at the top on both sides. Now screw in the panel from the front first, then the top, lastly the tab from earlier. Trying to get this screw back in is pretty tricky because of the angle. If you come at it from the opening in the front panel, it should be a little easier, but it still takes some patience to get it just right. With the panel in place, you can install the hard drive sleds. These sleds are designed with 2 prongs on the back end. One prong is hooked to slide in place horizontally, while the other one sits in a cutout. After you slide it in place, use the thumb screw on the front to tighten it down, and you're done. Remember, the case comes with 6 sleds, 2 installed in the mini hard drive cage below, and 4 more in the accessories box. Speaking of the accessories box, all the hardware to attach a hard drive or SSD to the sled can be found in a couple of little baggies. These are the screws specifically for attaching storage devices. For the hard drives, you always want to make sure to include these rubber dampeners to reduce unwanted vibration. Of course, like a noob, I put the dampers on the wrong side. It should go between the sled and the hard drive. Then just mount it in place as described above. Lastly, let's look at what we can do with the mini hard drive cage. It's held in place with 4 screws on the bottom. Normally you'll have to remove the bottom air filter, but we did that already. Once you loosen the screws, you can either slide the cage forward or backwards along the channels so that you can position it exactly as you want. Or you can completely remove the cage by unscrewing it and lifting it from under the power supply shroud. I do plan on having a few hard drives in RAID, so this server configuration will suit my needs. I'll also leave the small cage in place, at least for now. You can remove the remaining top panel completely to help attach a large radiator. But one of the screws I needed to remove just would not budge, and I ended up stripping it. Oof. I do plan on installing a 280mm radiator on top, so I'll have to figure something out. That's it when it comes to working on the big parts of this case. I hope this video has helped you out. Link to buy Define 7 for yourself will be in the description. Make sure if you enjoyed this content to leave a like and share so others can find this video in the future. Until next time, this has been Patrick CK. Goodbye.